Yeah.
未来最高
It is that thing from the opening.
未来最高
Okay. That is not quite how I expected it to go down, or the first impression, but seems to be like a playful type devil. I like it kind of, you know? Yeah, but it is that dancing thing that's going to come up now. But I'm sure there's about to be a tonal shift.
Yay, yay. 未来最高
Oh, I love him.
最高
I love it.
お前も未来最高と叫びなさい
俺はお前と契約をしに来た。
過去最悪な態度だぞお前うまいお前の未来を見せな
Oh,
未来
okay.
次第で契約内容は考えるぜ
I thought I can just kind of see it.
早くお腹に頭を突っ込め
Interesting character design. Look at this. I mean, tree branches and... Oh. Oh my god. Oh.
契約はこうだお前の右目に俺を済ませろそうすればお前の力になってやるそれだけでいいのかって顔だな
Yeah.
なぜならお前は未来で最悪な死に方をする
自分の死に方には興味ない。俺は俺が
It is
殺したやつ
inevitable,
を
but...
殺せれば、あとはどうなってもいい。さっさと目に入れ。
Ah, now get in my eye. Ah,
今日から指導は毎日じゃなくていいな
cut him.
週一にする
イエ
はいな時でもクールに脳みそを動かせ指導を踏まえて明日に実践だ
実践
姫野たちを殺した侍ソーダとヘビ女を俺たち全員で捕まえに行く新四
Whoa.
課のお披露目式だ
Whoa,
作戦で失
okay.
敗したら四課は終わり
ー俺を強くしてくれたからな。これでもっと悪魔を殺せる。そうすりゃマキマさんとランデブーや。
Oh, yes.
今回は忙しい中お疲れ様でしたこれからもデンジ君とパワーちゃんをよろしくお願いします
Look at this angle.
俺も
This one's a bit different, isn't it? The
なって
angle.
きちゃったな育てた犬が死ぬたびに酒の量が増える
Hmm. Okay.
おもちゃなら壊れても罪悪感はないと思ってたが
Ah.
この年になるとボケてきておもちゃにも情が湧
He
く
does have a soft side.
今回の得意か襲撃公安もバカじゃないだろうお前分かっていて見逃したな
私も襲撃に遭いましたよ
人間様の味方でいるうちは見逃してやるようちはな
私は悪魔から一人でも多く人を救いたいだけですそうすれば四課は今より動きやすくなってより悪魔から人を救える
See, there it was almost as if it's on double terms. The animation seemed a bit off there. The character models for the first time.
それよりここに残るなら噛まれないように用心しな
噛まれないように何のことですかここの下には秘密兵器がいる
Oh, the zombies.
じいちゃんの置き土産
Right. Yeah, I was just going to say
クズ
that.
どもで作ったゾンビ軍団だ
Oh, wow.
実は俺たちも銃の悪魔にめちゃくちゃにされた恨みで公安来ました。でも銃の悪魔を殺そうなんて思いませんよ。普通に考えれば無理ってわかりますもん。弱いくせに漫画の主人公みたいな目標を掲げて痛くてサボイボタツは。
今自分が自分を見えなくなってるのは分かってます。
Hmm. Yeah.
でも
Okay.
じゃなきゃやっていけないのも分かってるんです。
Yeah, now they can kind of openly talk
ア
about.
キ君、
Oh?
君のことムカつくけど応援しとくわ。
Yeah.
最後にこの言葉を送る。得意科にはまともなやつはいないから気をつけな。
Huh. Like a subtle smile before he got it. Yeah. Wow.
公安のお客さんだ高い茶用しろ
ご協力ありがとうございます。
Oh, wow.
東京
I'm
で
thinking
うちの
about
若い奴らが勝手にドンパチやっちまったみてえでな。聞いた話によると、この沢渡って女が黒幕でな。この女を仲介にうちの若い奴が騙されて10の悪魔と契約しちまったらしい。10の悪魔に2万円を払う代わりに契約者は10と
there it is. Okay, confirmation. It was one of the possibilities for sure, right?
必要なんかな。人類諸君と変わらないね。ジョーちゃん、必要悪って言葉知ってるかい？
Oh.
デビルハンターは学のないバカが多いっつうからわからないのも当然かな。
Don't do that. Don't do that.
明日がねじゃ仲間は売れんよ。
Might be something
これ
else.
はお金じゃありません。ここにいる皆さんの父や母、おばあちゃん、おじいちゃん、兄弟、
Oh,
姉妹、
she's good.
恋
She's
人、
good.
奥さんの目です。
目？
Holy shit.
お返しします。
Don't do that. You're dead.
あなたの言う必要悪というものは
Wow.
悪事を行う自分を正当化する言い訳です。その言い訳は社会に必要ない。必要な悪というのは常に国家が首輪をつけて支配しているものです。
デンジは俺が殺す。
あまり熱くなるなよ。
Round 2. The raid. Hey, Kobeni.
帰りてえなら帰りゃいいじゃねえか。俺は特訓したからよ。あのもみあげマンぶっ殺す。
Sideburns, man.
特訓して頭も良くなったからの楽勝じゃ。
Ah.
帰りたい。
得意4課隊長岸辺だ。
Kishibe. There it is.
得意4課はほとんどの隊員が人外で構成されている。4課の誰かが街に逃げたらテロリストが暴れるよりも被害が大きくなる。
Hey, it's a shark fiend from the opening, I guess. Whoa, that's useful.
サメの魔人、壁の中や地面、どんな場所でも泳ぐことができる。こい
Yes.
つは短い間なら悪魔の姿にもなれる。
Whoa. Who's that?
ごめんな。噛まれたからゾンビだと思ってた。
暴
I've
力
seen
の
one.
魔人。本来魔人になると悪魔の時は
Whoa.
弱くなる。
Love this animation here,
こ
though.
いつは魔人でも強すぎるから毒が出る仮面をつけさせている。何があってもこいつの仮面は取るな。
人間が噛まれるとゾンビになっちゃうよ。
Oh.
悪魔か。
The doll. All of them are from the opening, right?
雲の悪魔。
Spider
普段
Devil.
は人間のような形をしている。
This is quite the showcase for our new fiend friends.
うわ靴汚れた。こいつ最悪。
Ah, the angel. Ah, the
こい
angel
つは
devil.
特殊な悪魔で
Yeah.
人に敵意はないが近づくな。触れると寿命を吸い取られるからな。
よく僕に近づけるね。触れられたら寿命短くなる。
Yeah, about that.
見
Unique
残しだっ
case.
たら大丈夫なんだろ
いったった。
I love her nonchalant nature.
当てはあんのかよ。
う。ない。手分けして探せ。
But yeah, give me some of the mechanics of how he gets to use the future devil's abilities. I'm sure I'll get to see soon enough. It's gonna open up. Ah, okay. It looked like he knew that's coming. I mean, whoa, oh. She's at it. She's so goddamn cool. Whoa, whoa, yes. Sawatari.
おとなしく投稿しろ
セビ吐き出し
Oh. Oh, hold on. Yeah, I was gonna say, those pedals. Okay, I'm sure he gets like,
前よりも動けるな
yeah.
僕の力を使えばね、君の
A bit into
夢
the
は
future,
少し先の未来が見えるよ。
I love that voice acting for the future devil.
見えるだけだけどね。
That's all he needs. He's gonna need some help.
そのまま絞め殺せ
What? Ah. Okay, the penultimate episode of Chainsaw Man, and yeah, I've got to say, it's a solid episode, right? It certainly sets it up nicely for the finale, the grand finale, the end to the first season. And you know, it's kind of crazy. It flew by. It actually did fly by because it feels like it was just yesterday that all that hype was building up towards that first Tuesday, right? I remember, you know, on Twitter and YouTube comment sections and like comments for other stuff leading up to it. And yeah, you know, now it's the penultimate episode. Now, I personally don't know about the time frame. Realistically speaking, probably 2024, right? Early 2024, maybe mid 2024. That's probably at the earliest, realistically, right? And that's not even a lock, is it? Sometimes things don't go according to plan, right? Sometimes, you know, it takes much longer. Now, I hope, you know, they take the time they need because, you know, this first season has been just fantastic in terms of the production elements, the production side of things. It's been so impressive, so impressive. It's certainly setting a really high bar for, you know, anime in the future. Now, that being said, I think this episode was perhaps the first time I noticed a bit of a dip. It was only like one scene, but to me, it was certainly noticeable. And it was a conversation scene that was happening. Kishabe or Kishabe. It's one or the other, right? But it's super cool to have a name for this really fantastic character who is apparently modeled after Mads Mikkelsen. Now, I'm not sure if this is an actual thing Fujimoto has stated or if it's more of a fan thing. You know, kind of just look at the character design and kind of assume or kind of you know, join the two and kind of assume that it is a reference to Mads Mikkelsen. I can kind of see it. But yeah, you know, you'll have to let me know if that's an official like thing that Fujimoto has stated that he modeled Kishabe or Kishabe after Mads Mikkelsen, or if it's more of a fan thing. But yeah, going back to the potential release or time frame of season 2, you know, if you're going to ask me, you know, take as much time as you need. Right? Of course, that's not the most practical, you know, easier said than done, of course, especially, you know, given things like Shingeki, though, you know, it was brought to my attention that, you know, the production committee and production side of things is really quite different for the two anime, you know, Chainsaw Man and Shingeki, because there is other parties that are a part of it, right? And that makes it a bit difficult for the production side of things, or makes it a bit of a challenge. I'm not going to talk too much on it because I don't know, you know, the exact details, but the gist of it is that, you know, it's a bit more complicated for Shingeki, production side of things, and, you know, getting the time that they need. But yeah, you know, here you could tell that they were given the adequate time because apparently it's more of like an in-house thing for MAPPA. But yeah, next Tuesday is the final episode for some time, for a long time perhaps. But yeah, you know, I've got to say, I've really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed doing an anime or, you know, covering an anime as it is airing, right? It's a totally different type of feeling, totally different type of crowd. You know, it's great to be a part of something that is airing at the moment, right? And, you know, I hope to continue. I mean, 2023 is going to be the best year on my channel for me as a content creator. I can guarantee that, because at this point I'm settled, and I'm going to have a complete year, right from January 1st to the last day of December, 2023. Aggressive expansion. I'm going hard. I've got everything that I need to be successful. I've had it for some time, but now everything's kind of settled. New place. I've had a few months in this place as well now. So yeah, I'm excited, man. And for those who might be here just for Chainsaw Man, maybe the next anime might be up your alley as well. Vinland Saga begins on January 9th. So that's essentially the perfect takeover, isn't it? It's going to end next Tuesday, and not too long after that, there's going to be another new anime, right? And that one's going for 24 episodes, so almost half the year. So that's going to be exciting, because as many of you know, that is something I'm really, really quite excited for. Really anticipating that. Now let's actually get into the discussion. Let's actually begin with the ending. It's a cool ending. It is. There's certainly been better ones. I feel like some of the first 5 endings, there's a few in the first 5 episodes, the endings that are really quite phenomenal. Just the endings themselves are these like short films almost. But a thing that really stuck out to me is, that moment they're kind of cycling through the crew from, the hotel, essentially. Of course, the late Himeno, right? They show Kobeni. They show Aki, and they also show the violence devil. Huh? That felt so out of place. It sticks out like a sore thumb. I was just introduced to this character, and of course, I'll get to that scene. I think that introduction scene to the fiends, to the devils, that's one of the best scenes of the entire anime so far, because of how it's handled, right? And I'll get into it. But yeah, I thought that was really quite perplexing, to be focusing on that character alongside these other 3. Again, one of them has died now, Himeno. And of course, Aki is destined for death as well. Quite a gruesome death from the sound of things. Beyond gruesome, something quite disgusting, something quite shocking. According to some of the things the future devil is saying here, or implying. The future devil, goddamn. I'll get to the future devil. But yeah, that was one of the more noticeable things about the ending. And also, there is another thing that kind of stuck out to me. It's that structure, right? It's kind of almost like a cage. And Denji is kind of depicted in the middle of it, or under it, or inside of it. And it kind of disappears after that. There's certainly some really fascinating imagery there. There always is. I feel like these endings are probably more for the manga readers. I feel like there's probably some really cool shit in there that for anime onlys, it's kind of like, But perhaps for some of you manga readers, this is like juicy stuff, right? And maybe in hindsight, if I come back to this down the line, maybe there might be something in there, or in some of the other past endings as well. There's that one ending. I think it was in the first 5 episodes, perhaps. I think that's still the best ending. The one they kind of showcase some of the horses, and I kind of spoke of the potential of the 4 horsemen, right? That ending, that was the Eternity Devil arc. Yes, it was. I believe it was the first episode of that arc, and that was the ending. And that was, I think, to me, that is still the best ending. Also, the really hype hardcore ending as well, right? And that track, that score, is utilized in the anime quite a bit now. It's like one of the battle anthems, the battle themes. But yeah, it's quite the cliffhanger. The almost OP Sawatari against Aki, right? And Aki is about to be choked out. Now, of course, he's not going to die. Surely this is not the death the future devil is speaking of, right? The worst death possible, right? So, surely this isn't it. He did ask both Denji and Kobeni to follow him out of there and leave the zombies to the fiends, right? So they're around. They're close enough. One of them might show up, or both of them might show up and maybe rescue him or help him out here. Or maybe he'll just fight back, right? Let's see. It's one of those textbook cliffhangers, isn't it? But yeah, in terms of Sawatari, the ghost devil, right? That has to be quite the sight for Aki specifically, right? And for me as well, the moment I noticed the petals, I was like, no, don't do this. Because, yes, even if it's not Himeno, it's something that is really quite reminiscent of Himeno, right? In fact, maybe is there even a possibility that there could be some kind of residual remains of Himeno within the Ghost Devil? I don't know. I'm not sure of the mechanics of all of that and her disappearance, right, into nothingness. But it appears that once the Snake Devil took a bite out of the Ghost Devil, right, it consumed it and it kept it because she said spit it out. And of course, the one nail is the price still for the Snake Devil, or the price to use its abilities or call upon its abilities. But something new also happened here. For Sawatari, at least, because I see that Nosebleed happened a few times as Makima taking out some of the Yakuza guys. And of course, she's up to her old tricks again because she is taking them out as they square up to Aki, right? It's like 5 against 1, and then they just drop dead. Nosebleed, and they drop dead. That's Makima, right? She got the names out of them. And, at this point, I'm not even sure if she executed all of them or not. She walks out of there. She doesn't have the bag of eyes in her hand anymore. She seems quite pleased with herself. So I'm not even sure if they're alive anymore. She kind of told them, if you comply, there's someone at public safety that can kind of fix this situation. And isn't it so crazy that she's so chill about this, so nonchalant about this? Oh, yeah. There's someone at public safety who can put their eyes back, who can fix that little problem of, missing an eye. But, that in itself is so jarring, isn't it? That it's something so common, something so, I don't know, routine to be able to have someone that can do that. Unless, of course, it's a bluff, right? That she doesn't give a shit about actually, fixing anyone's eyes, and she killed them all anyways, right? Maybe it was a tactic to get the names out, and then she killed them. It's possible. Unless, of course, maybe she is a person of principle and she does straight up fix that for them. I don't know. To me, it kind of felt like the way she walked out of there, maybe she just executed all of them. Man, that is some character. And listen, I know I'm kind of jumping back and forth here, but once I kind of get onto a point, I like to kind of stick to that point, and then I'll kind of circle back to the point before this about Aki and Sawatari, right? I mean, at this point, there is no doubt about it. This is one of the most fascinating characters of the entire anime, right? Perhaps the most fascinating, right? Certainly up there, because she's such a, even though by the end of this episode, 11 episodes in, it took some time to get there, but, they've given us some fantastic information about her, some more insight about her. But there's still so much mystery there, so much intrigue there in terms of her inner mind, and her ultimate goals and motives in all of this. I mean, again, even in this episode, there is a bit more in terms of that. And, it certainly feels like it's beyond just the Gun Devil, right? The Gun Devil is there as this, being, as this entity, as this force in the story at this moment. But I think, Makima has other things on her mind as well, much larger things, I think, beyond the Gun Devil. But listen, at this point, one of the highest compliments I can possibly give to this character of Makima and the writing of this character and the presentation of this character, though, of course, it's not, a one-to-one, but, I kind of sit there and it reminds me of one of the greatest performances of all time, at least certainly in my opinion, or for me, right? Personally, it's one of my favorites of all time in all of film. And I'm speaking of Christoph Waltz in Inglourious Bastards as Hans Landa. Christoph Waltz is on demon time. I mean, he always is. And that performance is one of the all-time greats. It really is. It's one of the most terrifying performances, right? And that is the thing that is so attractive about Makima and that character. The same thing that was really attractive about that character in Inglourious Bastards. Attractive in the sense that it really pulls you in. It's the unsettling presence, right? The undeniable presence. It's how calm these characters are. It's all about how much control they have of any room they're in. These types of characters, they immediately take control, right? Even though you see in that presentation, these Yakuza guys, they are clueless. They don't know. They just don't know, right? they're standing there. You've got these rough-looking Yakuza guys, they've got her surrounded. And the homie Fujimoto actually used that meme, right? I could not believe my eyes. You guys know, right? The petite girl and the large black men that are standing behind her on the sofa set, on the couch. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Fujimoto is special. This man is something else. Oh man, I never thought I'm going to see that reference in an anime. But the cool thing here is that it's not at all how that plays out, right? It's the opposite. It's the opposite. They have no idea. They're in there stuck with her. It's not the opposite, right? They're the ones in danger. The commanding screen presence, it's all there. It's all there. Listen, I'm not saying it's a one-to-one comparison to Christoph Waltz and Hans Landa. Of course, there's a lot of different aspects to it, but there's a lot of similarities as well. So much so that I was thinking of it. That calm and composed, terrifying nature, right? Always in control of the situation, even if the others don't know it, right? Us, the audience, knows it. And of course, there's the visual storytelling as well, right? A lot of times you'll see low angles from Makima. There's even that one shot as she stands up, right? She's on the couch, but she stands up and the camera is below her. That's a thing that's quite prominent for that character. Again, even earlier on, her and Kishibe are having that conversation. And it's a totally different type of feeling there as well, isn't it? Totally different type of dynamic, because she knows, this is not the type of man she can fool, right? And, they gave us a hint, or kind of gave us a glimpse of it in the last episode, as he tells her to shut up. Or was it the episode before? No, last episode, yeah. Tells her to shut it, shushes her. So there is a bit of a different dynamic here, right? He's straight up calling her a liar to her face, right? And she's got that smirk on her face. But yeah, even there, you see at first it's a low angle, right? But for Kishibe, it cuts to Kishibe, but it's more of like just a neutral angle. Though of course, then they later kind of bring it to level terms. They're on the same level. But you see that a lot from Makima, right? The framing of it, the angles she's shot at, kind of depicting that authoritative nature, right? This looming presence. And before I move on from that scene, the concept of necessary evil is brought up. I mean, the Yakuza boss is trying to teach her, or trying to give her a lesson about necessary evil. And, she tells him it's not true necessary evil unless the nation itself is holding the leash and in control. So, the really interesting question here is, how exactly does Makima fall into that? Does she have grand plans of being the one who holds the leash? But also in terms of her kills, this time, you see a bit of a different kill, right? That one guy tries to, grab her. He does grab her shoulder, and then she kind of just looks at him, and then that's that, right? So there's more of a close range kill going on there, right? But then also the long range kill, because she acquired the names, and I suppose perhaps maybe she even used the Yakuza members in that room as sacrifices, right? Much like the last time she put that into motion. But I just mentioned the Makima and Kishibe or Kishibe conversation. There's a man who's been around long enough to know. Honestly, at this point, I think he actually even knows about her true nature. Or he probably has a good idea. And actually, there's even a possibility he might have shared some of his thoughts with Himeno, right? Because they had that teacher or the sensei and student dynamic before all of this, right? And there's moments around the time Himeno's still alive. There's moments she'll say things that kind of make it seem like she knows more about Makima than the rest as well, right? She'll be alluding to her true nature, or maybe not her true nature, but her true personality. And actually, at first, I even thought that there's a bit of an indirect warning for her in terms of Denji and power, perhaps. Because he does admit that he has become attached to them, and yeah, kind of as expected, he does have a soft side. So I thought maybe indirectly he's kind of telling her to not try any of that shit against them, and then he lays it out there. He lays it on her, all on the table. As long as it's in the interest of humanity, I'll ignore all of your bullshit, all of the shit you're up to, all of the crazy shit you're up to, as long as it's in the interest of humanity. You get a pass, but only then. So of course, there's some really, really juicy and interesting potential there as well, right? These two butting heads at some point, or coming to blows at some point, or kind of, finding themselves on opposing ends at some point. Let's see how it all plays out. Kishibe has been a fantastic, late addition to the season. Yes, I got glimpses of him through flashbacks, but now as a full-blown character, loving it. And right before that scene, it's him, Power, and Denji. Of course, they've gotten to a point now that he's quite impressed. He's impressed that they've made a lot of progress in perhaps a short amount of time. Again, I'm not sure how long it's been. But yeah, so much so that they're not dead and laying on the floor, they can survive. And they're even cutting him up, right? They're getting to him, and he thinks they are ready at this point to try it all out in the field on this big raid mission, right? How exciting. That whole setup leading up to the actual raid inside, it's fantastic, full of tension. I think the direction of this episode is really quite noticeable. I thought there's a great balance throughout the episode. I mean, the pacing was great, and the voice acting continues to be so engaging. One of the things I really love about anime is humor. How good some of these voice actors are at some of these really fun moments, at some of these really funny moments, right? I mean, I'm out here like legitimately laughing out loud at some of these, voice acting moments. It's really funny stuff at times. And, I think that's actually really quite unique to some of these original Japanese performances. There's a lot of really great fun moments like that that is facilitated by the Japanese voice acting, and the cadence of the delivery, stuff like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. There's a lot of really fun moments there, right? And I give all the credit to the voice acting of it, right? And I'm not speaking of, funny scenes. I'm talking about actual, performances that really get me, This one really gets me. The fun moments in this are really fantastic. The funny moments. But of course, beyond just the fun moments, the funny moments and fun performances, yeah, the voice acting has been one of the standouts. And it continues here because I get some new entries. But, surely the standout has to be the future devil. Oh my goodness. I mean, that is such a pleasant surprise. I mean, of course, in my mind, I did not think at all that this is going to be the character that is going to end up being the future devil. But I love it so much. I love it so much. I immediately latched onto that performance, that personality, the whole tone of it, the sassy nature it has. But of course, let's not forget, at the end of the day, it is a devil, and it does want to experience human misery and pain. And I think it got the ticket of a lifetime, a ticket to the front row, because unfortunately and quite sadly, it feels like this whole tragic arc that Aki's been on, this whole sad life of his, it's going to have quite the staggering ending, quite the sad and tragic ending as well, right? Suffering, pain, suffering, all of that. It continues right into his death from the sounds of things. And the crazy thing is, that's all the future devil wanted from Aki. There is no price. It just wants to be there, to see it. That's how disturbing Aki's death is going to be, right? Compared to some of the other prices that they've established. And, of course, it's quite effective that they do a bit of a recap in the beginning of this episode, right? Kind of show us that scene again, and they tell us the exact price the other two from public safety had to pay. Again, it's still, it's not clear at all who the other two might be. Listen, Makima certainly showcases certain abilities that might make it seem like she might have a contract with the future devil. But if indeed she is one of them, she's not the one who gave up the eyes and the senses, right? The taste and smell, because she can smell. That's one of the things that stuck out most earlier on in the season. She could smell Denji, right? Much like how the Snake Devil could tell that something's off here. Not the Snake Devil, sorry, the Fox Devil. About I got a name. I guess they do have a name for him. Samurai Sword, right? I mean, it's not an actual name, but a term, a description, rather than just kind of using Katana Man. But yeah, so she can smell. So she's certainly not the one who gave up the sense of smell. Maybe she is the one who gave up half her lifespan to use it. And the other one, I also kind of thought maybe it could be Kishibe. I think it's Kishibe, right? So I don't know. Let's see. It'll be interesting to see who it is. Kobeni, maybe. I don't know. She did have some really fast reflexes, and she was really quite solid at dodging bullets and attacks from the Snake Devil, right? Or was it bullets? It was just Snake Devil. But yeah, maybe Kobeni, who is of course still on the scene, still kind of hanging in there. Of course, she hates it, but she's still here, and maybe I'll get to see her in action again. Maybe she'll shine again. But yeah, that's just terrible, isn't it? that Aki's death is going to be so miserable and so disturbing. The Future Devil does not need anything else. No other price, no other stipulations or anything. I just want to be in your eye so I can see this go down, right? Front row seats, essentially. Yeah, it's sad. It's sad to think about, but yeah, and it is kind of set in stone as well at this point, isn't it? And it kind of takes me to that conversation that's happening in the car ride, right? Tendo and Kuros, I think I butchered that, but Tendo is the one I remember. Listen, there's a bit of a change of heart there. At first, Tendo is kind of having a go at him, and listen, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. He is right about all of it. But I think he also understood Aki as well, right? That this is not one of the crazy ones that they believe are a part of public safety. That everyone that is a part of public safety is crazy, right? He gives him that heads up because he knows now. He understands this is just someone who's not able to get over a lot of that trauma, that has a lot of that trauma, right? And this is the only path he can take. He understands after that conversation, or over the span of kind of being in his presence and kind of getting to know him a bit, that he's not one of the crazy ones. So I love that scene at the end there, because it is the final time. He did say that's the final time they're going to see each other, right? So he took one last chance to maybe try to convince him to give up on the suicide mission, and it is a suicide mission. There's no other road. That it's simply a suicide mission. And speaking of suicide, the introduction of the new fiends and the two devils, it really felt like the Suicide Squad, didn't it? But let's move on to that fantastic scene, the introduction scene, right? To our new friends, the two fiends and the two devils, right? And now you see, I believe it was Arai, right, who mentioned that they're a bit too ugly, or they're a bit too scary for public appearances. So I'm guessing he was speaking of someone like the Shark Fiend, perhaps, or the Spider Devil. Though of course the Spider Devil has a humanoid form. I actually thought it's some kind of doll devil, right? Because in that opening at the movie theater, it looked like a doll. You've got the Angel Devil. How about the Angel Devil? That is quite the interesting concept as a fear. But there's still the other one. The Death Devil, perhaps. That's still a possibility. That's like right there. It's like a dangling carrot. Surely that's going to be explored. The Grim Reaper Devil, or the Death Devil, right? You see some of these devils and fiends. Still the possibilities are endless. It could be anything, right? There's some really prominent ones that I think have to be a part of this at some point, right? The fear of death, like I mentioned, the fear of darkness, the fear of war, these kind of things, right? These are just like basic fears, but I thought it was brilliant use of fight choreography as an introduction to these new characters. And I love how fluidly it moves from one character to another, because it appears to be an introduction for them as well. They don't know each other from the looks of it. You see the Shark Devil, Shark Fiend attacks the Violence Devil, right? Or Fiend. They don't know each other, but they know each other now. But that's an interesting one. That is a special case. So is the Angel Devil. That's quite the special case. Apparently this is a fiend that still maintains its initial strength or power that it had as a devil, as a pure devil, before it turned into a fiend. And for that reason, they have this plague doctor-esque mask that has poison to kind of level the field a bit, to kind of diminish its strength a bit, to keep it, keep a leash on it, essentially, right? So that's a fascinating one. This one is clearly something special here because you see in the opening, this character had its own reference, right? No Country for Old Men, Shigor sitting on the bed, and then of course at the ending there as well, it's a part of that ending. It's an exciting new addition for sure. But yeah, Shark Devil. Oh my goodness, how much fun is the Shark Fiend? That is such a fantastic character. It's a fun character. I'm sure I'm going to have a blast as this story progresses for that character as well. You can see there's a lot of comic relief there. And yeah, I spoke of the Spider Devil, but the Angel Devil, I thought, the Angel Devil, fascinating, really. The whole concept of, the fear of angels. I actually thought there's a bit of chemistry there. I thought there was something interesting going on there, right? Even the presentation of it as Aki is walking towards the Angel Devil, right? And you see the chaos in the background, the Shark Devil going crazy. It really did feel like the Suicide Squad. But yeah, I felt like there was something interesting there, some interesting on-screen chemistry there, right? And I'm not saying, oh, it's romantic or anything, but there is something there. I think that was something notable. And of course, there's a really, depressed and sad disposition as well, right? The Angel Devil, that is. So yeah, I'm excited to see more of that character for sure. I'm really excited to see all of them. It did everything that it needed to do, right? Gave us the personalities, depicted their, abilities in the field, and how they kind of function with others. But yeah, I thought it was a standout moment of the episode and one of the standout scenes of the anime as well, I think, because of its presentation and how it's handled masterfully, actually. Again, the direction there and the action direction there is just really noticeable, I think. But also, before I move on, the Angel Devil, how old must the Angel Devil be, right? Could that also play a part in its, depressed nature, the nonchalant nature, the sadness? But also, before I forget, Sawatari, clearly a big player, someone that is, kind of important because this is the contact with the Gun Devil, or the contact, or the individual who facilitates the deals with the Gun Devil. And of course, the deals themselves, 20,000 yen is nothing for those types of deals, for those types of things, guns and ammo in this situation, right? Tightly controlled, or tight gun control. So, but at the end of the day, all of this benefits the Gun Devil, right? Because the fear of guns raises exponentially after that last incident as well. So, the Gun Devil, if indeed this is the Gun Devil's doing here, providing the guns and the ammo, it loves this, of course. So, this entity doesn't care about the price, 20,000 yen, but, the fact that even devils need money, that's an interesting one, right? The Yakuza boss made that point. And, he said something interesting about, oh, look at that. They're not so different from us, are they? And notice how it cuts to Makima, right? Some of these cuts are always deliberate, right? Nothing is by chance. Nothing is just random. Some of these hinges are certainly by design and put there for the audience to pick up on. Transitional hinges are a big thing as well, from scene to scene, connecting, the tail of a scene to the head of the next scene. So yeah, I thought that was interesting that she's the one facilitating all of this. So, it's even possible that she herself might have some sort of contract or deal with the Gun Devil to be in contact with the Gun Devil like this on this, or in this capacity. But yeah, I think that might be it for this episode, folks. Just lastly on the Shark Fiend again, just that concept of the Shark Fiend being able to swim through any surface, the walls, the roof. That is just so creepy, right? A lot of times that thought is there for us, isn't it? Oh, imagine, like, if you're just standing somewhere, maybe it's a pool, a small pool or something, a small lake. That thought does occur to you sometimes, right? It's like, imagine if there was a shark here. Imagine if there was a shark there, right? Yes, there's a goddamn shark that can be anywhere, essentially, and that can swim through walls. And then one more thing on the Angel Devil, perhaps, this fear of the angel could also be the fear of divine punishment as well. Maybe that plays a role in this fear, this really special case. Okay, so if you enjoyed that, please consider dropping a like, consider dropping some comments, give me your thoughts. You know, I might be a bit behind on comments, but I'll get to them. You know, it's a busy period, of course, everyone knows, but you know, I'll get to the comments. I love getting to the comments. I'll get there. To some of the last few. If you are interested in full length or perhaps full opacity, consider checking out the Patreon page. The links are in the description and the pinned comment. Also links to social media, if that's your thing. You know, I'm usually quite active on Twitter. Right then, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for your time, because time is precious. It really is. And I do hope to see you again soon for the next one. Until then, take it easy.